Hi guys, welcome back to the channel today. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you how I made this beautiful reversible underbust corset. Please, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. So to start with, these are the materials we are going to be needing. I have about half yard of this blue material and half yard of this African print. I'll be making use of newspaper as my pattern paper. You can use anything for your pattern paper, anything paper, and our scissors, staple, pin and marker. I'm going to take this area as the center front and that area as the bust line. My bust line is 10, so I'll be marking 10 inches on the paper, and my under bust is 13 inches, and the length of the corset of the underbust corset is 16 inches. So you can adjust your length, so it depends on the length you want. So I'm using 16 inches for this underbust corset. So we are connecting the line together. You connect the bust line, the under bust line and the length of the corset together. So I'll be marking my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8, then divided by 2, which is 4. So you mark it on the bust line, the under bust line and the waistline, then you connect those 3 lines together. Sorry, the center front of this paper is cut off. I didn't know when doing this video. I'm so sorry about that. So you are going to measure from the bust line to the under bust line. So whatever you have there, I'm having 3 inches there. So whatever measurement you have there, you are going to mark it to the right and left side of the bust line as you see me doing. What we are going to do now is to connect these points together. We are going to connect the 3 points together as you see me doing. Sorry, I don't have a French cuff, but if you have one, you can easily use that. But I'm using my free hand here to connect it. Please make sure it's very curved and straight. So now I'll be marking 1 inch below the bust line. 1 inch below the bust line, then half inch at both sides of the waistline. Then you are going to connect these 3 points together. So what I'm going to do now is to mark my bust measurement. So my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust measurement is 34, divided by 4 is 8.5. Then I'm going to be adding half inch sewing allowance. I'll do that to my waistline too. So my waist is 28, divided by 4 is 7. Then we're going to add 1 inch. We are going to be replacing 1 inch of that dart. So 7 plus 1 is 8, then half inch sewing allowance. So I just realized in this video that I didn't replace that 1 inch dart at my waist measurements. I didn't replace the 1 inch dart. So when you are doing that, when you are doing your own, please don't forget to add yours. Please take note of the parts that I'm cutting. Take note of those parts, the part that we'll be needing and the parts that we are not going to be making use of. So then you label your parts, the middle parts and the side parts. So what we are going to be doing now is to cut our back pieces. So for us to cut our back pieces, we are going to be using the front panel to draft out the back panel. So I'll be pinning it down so that it won't shift, it won't move away from where I want it to be. So the next thing we are going to do is to mark a straight line under here, then trace the dart part, the dart allowance. So we are going to be tracing it out the side part too. So now we can remove the front panel so that we can cut the back part. So now we'll be ruling a straight line so that we can draft out our dart. Then you slant by 1/2 inch so that we can have a little slant at the back. So then you cut. I use loop for the back of this underbust corset, so I won't be making use of the center back in this video, yes, but if you want to make use of a zipper, then you can make use of this center back. But now I'll be removing the center back because I'll be making use of loop for this corset. So when you are done cutting, these are the parts that you are supposed to have, those 3 parts. So I folded my fabric into 2. So now I'll be cutting on my actual fabric. So while cutting on the actual fabric, I'll be giving it 1/2 inch stitching allowance round. So I'll be adding 1/2 inch stitching allowance round all those parts. So now we are done cutting on our African print. So now for the second fabric. So for the second fabric, I went ahead to cut it out too. So yeah, I've gone ahead to iron my hairstay with the pieces and on the second fabric too. So now I'll be pinning my side part to the center front part too, as you see me doing. So for us to secure it down, I'll be pinning it. So that's the part we are going to sew. So while sewing, we'll be sewing with 1/2 inch. Yes, the 1/2 inch sewing allowance that we added round those parts the other time. Then you are going to be pinning down the back part too. So don't forget you are sewing a reversible underbust corset. So I've gone ahead to iron it down. You can see it's looking neat and nice. So I'm going to be cutting off the unnecessary parts. So what I'm going to do now is to create my boning casing. So I'll mark the center of this underbust corset. So I want a boning to be at the center. So I'll be pinning my bias down to the center. So I'm making use of bias for the casing. So I'll be placing my bias on the other side that I joined, where I have my joining. I want my boning to be there too. So I'm done here with the boning casing. So I want to create another boning casing at the back. So I'll be marking 1 inch at the top and at the bottom. So I'll be doing it to the second side too. Then I'll be pinning down my bias for the boning to pass through. So now I'll go ahead to my sewing machine to sew it down. I'm going to be inserting boning to hold the boning casing. So what I'll be doing next is to place my boning to all the boning casing. So while placing the boning, I'll make sure it is 1 inch shorter than the length of where I want to be placing the boning. I'm making use of a plastic boning, so you can use any boning of your choice. You can use a regening boning, any boning of your choice. I'm burning the edges of my boning so as to keep me safe, so it won't be shocking me or making me uncomfortable while wearing it. So now I've went ahead to press it down so that the boning will be straight. So I'm going to be placing my second part to the African print, and I'll be pinning it down. So I'm going to go ahead to my sewing machine to sew it all round with 1 inch sewing allowance. So now I'm going to be notching it. So now I'm going to be turning it to the right side as you see me doing. So I'll be putting my boning to that area. You can also use a bra bone. So I've went ahead to sew it with my sewing machine. I'm so sorry I couldn't take you to my sewing machine, but I'll be explaining how I did this. So you are going to be placing your boning in between these parts, then you are going to sew it, though it will be kind of hard. Yes, it will be hard, but you just have to sew it. So you are going to be curving it while sewing it little by little. Then we are going to be sewing this part. This is another hard thing to do. So now I'm done sewing it, then we are going to be turning it. This part will be very hard, but you just have to be patient, like very patient while turning this out. You can see I'm still struggling with it here, but you just have to be patient. So I'm done turning it out. You can see it's looking nice and neat. The boning there is just to give it strength and shape. Then I'm going to be stitching down my bias tape into 2 for the loop. I'm going to be pulling that part in, then I'll press it down. So after stitching the bias, I'm going to be cutting it into pieces with 2 inches, then I'll fold it in as you see me doing, then you stitch on it. So now I'll be marking where I want my hole to be for the loop. So that's basically all for the sewing of this top. You can see how it's looking beautiful and nice. So now we'll be lacing it up. So that's basically all for the cutting and sewing of this cute underbust corset. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video, and let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Trust me guys, you can style these underbust corsets in different ways. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.